Welcome back to my channel, everyone. It's Tia here. I am a professional psychic who helps you to trust your intuition and remember who you are. On today's video, we are going to be talking about how to heal heartbreak. This is something that is very personal to me because of what I've gone through. So I will definitely share from a personal perspective and also a spiritual perspective. Heartbreak is one of the most, I feel, traumatic and severe things that most of us experience at some point or another. And there's levels to heartbreak, right? And for some people, it can be a relationship they were in for 3 months, and for some, they can experience it after being in a relationship for 3 years. Oftentimes, because I look at people on a soul level, when you go through a heartbreak, when it comes to somebody who you have a deep connection with, even if the time you were together wasn't as long, it can still feel super, super heart-aching and really heartbreaking to go through it. So for those of you who've had any kind of heartbreak, I hear you and I see you. I have experienced all the highs and lows when it comes to simply somebody I've dated and somebody who I was in a very long-term relationship with. I oftentimes feel like this world always tells us that, well, you weren't really with them for a long time, so it doesn't matter. Or because you're with them for a super long time, it does matter. From a spiritual perspective, because those of us who are spiritualists and old souls tend to believe that we can have soul connections that run deep from this lifetime and other lifetimes, it really doesn't matter how long in physical time we've known somebody. So if you're watching this and you're going through a breakup, whether you've known the person a month, 3 months, 5 months, 10 years, 20 years, it doesn't matter. All of your feelings are valid, they are real, and they matter. And as somebody who has gone through it myself, I see you and I'm here to share with you my experience, but also how to get through this. So let's begin. I went through a really severe heartbreak a couple of years ago. I was engaged to a soulmate who was somebody who helped me be more of myself. He was almost like a spiritual mentor more than anything. He wasn't super psychic or anything, but he was an old soul and somebody that I've had many lifetimes with. And he was so familiar to me. We actually started as friends and then we ended up dating. The universe kept trying to put us together, right? Every time I tried to avoid him, he'd literally be there. And it wouldn't be because I'm looking for him or because I went to go look and see if he would be at this location I was at. It was almost like I kept facing him. So without a doubt, I know we were meant to meet and have the relationship we had. For about 3.5 years, we were super happy together. But our journeys were taking a different turn. I wanted to grow and evolve, and he was really comfortable being where he was at. And it was showing up significantly. Everybody has the right to have their own journey, but after being with somebody who you're friends with for 1.5 years and then are dating for 3.5 years, we get engaged and everything went downhill. It's almost like it became too much for him. And whether or not he realized it, this is my personal experience and how I took it, it seemed like he disconnected. And maybe the stress of our relationship evolving and having adult responsibilities that we needed to do as we evolved as a couple just got to him. Maybe it was too much change at one time, but whatever the reason was, I ended up feeling like we weren't growing together anymore. And in fact, I didn't only feel that we weren't growing together anymore, I felt like I was trapped. And so as somebody who is an old soul and is here to evolve and grow, that felt like a death sentence to me, actually. So I had tried for many years, because there was a lot of other things going on in our relationship, family-wise, to really make it work. And at some point, I just knew that there was nothing more that I could do. So I broke the engagement, which you would think would make me be the one that felt good. But actually, it was still really sad and really heartbreaking. And what I learned about heartbreak is that sometimes there's a person that does the breaking up and somebody who's broken up with, but ultimately, both people end up broken in some way. And it doesn't matter. Sometimes it's the one person who has to pull the band-aid because that was the right thing for them to do. And really, when they freed themselves, they freed the other person. And maybe that's what the other person ultimately wanted, but couldn't say. So what I think really happens when you're going through something like that, a breakup, it's going to expose all the parts of you that feel unworthy of love. It's going to expose all the parts of you that make you feel small and insecure and rejected. And the biggest thing that people try to do in heartbreak is they try to move on to the next person. I have been guilty of that myself, because we don't want to feel all the feelings that come up. And even when we get to our breaking point in a dynamic, it doesn't mean that this person or this breakup is something that you wanted to lose or have or experience. In fact, it's heartbreaking all the way around. The fact that it happened, the fact that you had to do it, the fact that you had to be a part of it, there's no easy way out. If you're going through a breakup or a heartbreak of some kind, I want you to have self-compassion. I want you to let all those feelings surface and know that they won't eat you alive, that you will survive this, that the heart is resilient, that your spirit is resilient, and that things will show up the way that they're meant to, and that you are not a lost cause, that you did not do anything wrong that made you deserve this pain. In fact, you probably tried to do everything you could so that you and your previous partner didn't have to go through this. So, number 1, self-compassion. Number 2, make friends with time. You need to let time do its thing. And I'm not just saying let time pass, but you need time so that you can inner work, so you can do the inner work, so you can inner reflect, so you can feel all the things that come up, but also look at them, also understand them, also see if there's patterns or things that you could have done differently or things that you would have done again. It's almost like you need the time to see things clearly. And how you heal heartbreak is not just from reading self-help books, but actually trying to help yourself. So whatever that means to you, if it means sleeping in more, if it means resting, if it means seeing your friends more, if it means doing meditation, if it means taking a shower more often, it literally could be the simplest or the biggest things. The other thing that I would do is, if you're open to this, and you probably are if you're watching my channel, is to do heart chakra healing. You can do this by doing heart chakra meditations. You can look it up on YouTube. You can find any videos on Spotify, and this will help you go within your heart and heal some of the pain. But just know that right now your heart has a little hole in it, and that hole needs to be filled with love, and it doesn't need to be ignored. The other thing that I would suggest if you're going through this deep heartbreak is listening to 639 Hertz. You could do it on Spotify or any kind of place where you find music. It is going to be soothing vibrationally for you. The other thing I would suggest doing is working with a healer, a mentor, a practitioner that'll help you heal some of the feelings that come up, like shame, guilt, sadness, forgiveness, things that need to come up depending on what you experienced in your own relationship and heartbreak. This is super important because ultimately this is going to be what really helps you shift into the next phase and helps you not feel as triggered moving forward. The next thing I would suggest if you're going through heartbreak, do not keep in contact with this person. I know it's easier said than done, but you need time to see this clearly. And what you may see is that there are things that really couldn't work out at that time, or there are things that you need to change or they need to change so it can work out. But it's really hard to see it when you're in it, when you're still communicating with that person consistently or consciously. It is hard. But I also want to urge you to trust your intuition and trust what you need to do to gain closure. If you still need to have that last conversation with them to find out what happened or why it happened, it's okay to do that. There's no rules to this. I feel like sometimes there's so much like, you should just do this and you should do that. It's almost like people are trying to boss you around into not having your feelings. You're allowed to have your feelings. It is normal to have feelings. So I want you to give yourself the space and the patience to have that and to do so. If you're going through heartbreak, please take your time and know that there is no rush in this game. Do what you need to do to survive this for yourself. But I want you to ultimately know that you will. If you liked what you saw in today's video, please like and subscribe. I will be doing more videos to help you trust yourself, trust the challenges and things that happen, and give you a spiritual perspective to understand how to help yourself. Again, with professional, practical advice that helps you feel safe and to know that you are seen and heard, that you can trust yourself. I will see you next time.